let's put out a bit of sound, and it's just the chorus. Here we go. If you're not in it for the glory of God, and if you're not willing to lose your life, and if you're not in it for love, and if you're not in it for life, and if you're not in it for Jesus Christ alone, then let me make it clear to you, my dear neighbor, I'm out of here. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. If you're not in it for the glory of God, and if you're not willing to lose your life, and if you're not in it for love, and if you're not in it for life, and if you're not in it for Jesus Christ alone, then let me make it clear to you, my dear neighbor, I'm out of here. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. If you're not in it for love, that's a bit cheesy. Anyway, those two, didn't mesh out real well. Anyway, it's all about the heart, all about the motive. We have a motive here, the glory of God. Okay, adios. Howdy, it's September 1st, and it's still hot, sweltering hot. It's 3-digit numbers, about 106 outside today, and I'm dripping sweat as I speak into this Apple digital recorder. So I've had my complaint over in Texas. Of course, they've had that devastating hurricane they called Harvey, and the loss of property massive, and even the loss of life and limb. So they are really hurting. Just goes to show that on one side, or state, California is having the drought, and just across the way, a few states over, massive flooding. And they expect us to be balanced. Larry says, give me a break. Weather's not the weather or nature. But anyway, we're on a pretty severe planet. Some folks are falling in love, and on the other side, they're losing or suffering a divorce. One is having a child, and the other is losing one. One's having a good run of health, and someone on the other side's having to deal with cancer, and on and on. Hey, on this piece is coming up on the chorus. Now, I feel awkward because I don't like tinkering around with others' original material, but I was looking for some help on the YouTube down the library to learn how to edit photos with my songs. Anyway, I need a real person to talk to. There's no one around that's alive. Everybody is on record or on a recorder or on a YouTube tutorial video. But I need to raise my hand to the teacher and say, "Excuse me," and present my problem to get a direct answer. But anyway, while I was doing that, I came across this Shania Twain's song, "I'm Outta Here," on the side menu. So anyway, being bewildered in class with my other procedure, I hit the button for sort of a refreshment in the headphones and went for the ride of this performance they did in Canada. Anyway, and they did it just extremely well, by mix and by arrangement, by guitars, and by percussion. They had this drop of the melody in her song, "I'm Outta Here," and then bang, the drums kicked in, and it was a, what do you call it, a drum line, as in from a marching band, like from a college, and that was really unique. So anyway, I got in my bloodstream, and I've been working away here madly on the property, filling bins and all, and I took it to these words that you'll hear, but I have a need to explain, which I don't think I have room for. There's scriptures are popping from all kind of seams of the garment that is being woven in this fellowship. So this is about fellowship, but I can't go there. I might just go back to Shania and say, in her material, she has this manner of cracking the whip on the male ego, which is very interesting to me. She did it in another piece where she mentioned this young actor named Brad Pitt, and in that she was cracking away on, I don't know, I haven't listened to it intently, but I think the guy had a hot car and had good looks and a lot what he thought was going for himself, and she says, "I'm not impressed much." She got into that chorus. But anyway, she does the same with "I'm Outta Here." But I've been meditating and getting all this really great stuff about Christ going, "I'm outta here," and commitment, in that he's done the "it is finished," making atonement for sin, and the ultimate, but it requires us also following him without the camp and without the gate. You know, I might just quickly, there's so much. So hang on to that word commitment when you hear my little chorus. But with Hebrews, let me read these few things. It says, Hebrews chapter 13, and you'll hear my words, so it'll make a little sense. It says, "We have an altar," and that's the believer, "whereof they," like of the old covenant, and also messing around in denominationalism, "in the name of Christ, have no right to eat of which serve the tabernacle." It says, "For the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp." So I've just gone from Shania Twain to burning bodies and shed blood, but here it goes. "Wherefore Jesus also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate," and you'll hear that in my lines, but I need more time to back it up. And Ned says, "Let us go forth, therefore, unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach," and goes into so much. You know, that Jesus wasn't doing real well in Jerusalem, and there's all these portions that I'd like to have time to lay out on the table. We know he wept over Jerusalem and said, "I would have gathered thee like a hen with her chicks, but you would not," and that he left, you know, let's say L.A. or Sydney, which is Jerusalem, and traveled out into the land of Zebulun and Naphtali, something I can't pronounce, and it says, "To those that sat in the region in the shadow of death, a light had dawned," meaning that he was doing well outside the camp with certain folk, but not too well in the camp. Oh, there's so much that triggers me to think of when Christ went back to his hometown, Nazareth, and read that portion of Isaiah and said, you know, the blind shall see and the lame shall walk and all that. And he said, "This day the scripture is fulfilled in thy ears." Anyway, they got very, very upset because they were in the synagogue. And it's not just the physical building, but they were in the religion that wasn't going to tolerate this Jesus of Nazareth saying that he's the one. So anyway, they took him to a brow of a cliff, and we know what went down there. But Jesus said, "I'm out of here." Well, let's put out a bit of sound, and it's just the chorus. Here we go. If you're not in it for the glory of God, and if you're not willing to lose your life, and if you're not in it for love, and if you're not in it for life, and if you're not in it for Jesus Christ alone, then let me make it clear to you, my dear neighbor, I'm out of here. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. If you're not in it for the glory of God, and if you're not willing to lose your life, and if you're not in it for love, and if you're not in it for life, and if you're not in it for Jesus Christ alone, then let me make it clear to you, my dear neighbor, I'm out of here. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. Outside the gate, outside the walls, outside the camp of the institution of Jerusalem. If you're not in it for love, that's a bit cheesy. Anyway, those two, didn't mesh out real well. Anyway, it's all about the heart, all about the motive.